Just remember the game. How much more can you take before you break? In the morning, when you wake up, it will just be a new day. Say goodnight to all your worries, let them just fall in your dreams. How much more can you take before you break? How much more can you take before you break down? Before you break down. My life was stolen from me in this wasteland. Gives me a newfound focus. What am I gonna do? A pseudo catalyst with burned out rhetorics. Clean up my dirty chin and plan my getaway. I feel a constant pressure from this wasteland. It pushes downward on me. To my motivation, I will be whole again. I will be seen again. I need to get away. I wanna be sedated. My life was stolen from me in this wasteland. Gives me a newfound focus. What am I gonna do? Relieve this constant pressure. Get my motivation. I want it. I need it. I know I just deserve it now. My life was stolen from me in this wasteland. Gives me a newfound focus. What am I gonna do? A pseudo catalyst with burned out rhetorics. Cleaned up my dirty chin to plan my getaway. I feel a constant pressure from this wasteland. It pushes downward on me, kills the motivation. I will be whole again. I will be seen again. I need to get away. I wanna be sedated. My life was stolen from me in this wasteland. Gives me a newfound focus. What am I gonna do? Relieve this constant pressure. Get my motivation. I need it. I want it. I know I just deserve it now.
Hi everyone, how are you? Oh, it's still not over. Oh. Nice to see you all here. Let me say some hellos here. Hi, Steve, Alfonso, Lisa, Johnny, Dylan, Alfonso, Brian, George, Walter. Oh boy, it's scrolling. Oh boy, it's scrolling fast. Lalo, Wendy. Thank you for being here with me tonight. It's gonna be a strange one, to be honest, because I'm still not fully back from it all. Uh, as you know, it's been a rough couple weeks. Let's put it that way. The last 2 weeks have been pretty crazy. So the theme for this evening is actually not political in a weird way. It's not gonna be. Um, I think it's safe to say that whatever you need to know about me, you can find out from my posts, and also you can find out from the songs themselves if you really listen. Um, so let's have a living in Oblivion party. It sort of is in a weird way. So, first off, I'm going to say this now. Um, the overarching theme for tonight is, yeah, semi spiritual, I will say, because it has something to do with things that happen above and below. And below not being like hell or something, but below being this is where we are on earth. And it seems to me that some of the chaos that we're feeling here and some of the strangeness going on in the last couple of weeks is mirrored up there. And I think I'm seeing it play out in the cosmos as well as on Earth. So I feel that a lot of the things that have been going on have definitely pushed me more into a spiritual center. And I'm embracing it because I'll be honest with you, off camera, off stream, during COVID, during the lockdowns, all that stuff, I sort of hid that side of myself. I kept it very quiet because, of course, in this industry that I'm in, everybody says, "Oh my God, don't tell anybody that you believe in Jesus. Don't do the Jesus thing, because if you do that, everybody's gonna like not listen to you, and you're gonna become a Christian artist and all this kind of stuff." And it's like, it's not that we were never that anyway, or it's not that I never, I had my atheist periods when I was young, and I outgrew them. So my spirituality has always been part of my being. Um, and it came up even more with time and recording different things. So you can hear it in the songs if you look for it. But on the other hand, they're meant to be universal truths. So in that vein, I never felt the need to like preach or like tell someone what to believe in or what to do. Um, That's not to say I never will. I'm not saying that I'm only human, so everybody's human. We make mistakes. So, but the events as they've unfolded in the last couple of weeks have definitely pushed me more into that direction. And I decided that since I can see certain things, and when I say this, I want you to understand I'm going to come off as crazy by the end of the evening, and I'm okay with that. I know some people are going to say I'm totally nuts because I'm going to talk about really weird things like the correlation between divisiveness on Earth and the coming together of comets that are about to hit or do whatever they're going to do behind the sun where we can't see them. Um, it's a macro micro. And I've always felt that fractal things happen up there and down here. And there are certain ways that I think I've learned to adapt to those things. And I think maybe my approach is a little unique. So we'll see. So either you're going to think I'm nuts and that's fine, or maybe you'll do a little soul searching and figure it out for yourselves. But the songs that I've picked for this evening are a little on the weird side, but we're going to have some fun too. I'm going to give away a signed copy of the new album in a book and the CD. If someone can figure out just one sentence of a lyric that I've written to a song that I've played a couple of times. It's new, but I'm not even going to play it tonight, which is funny. I'm just going to tell you what the lyrics are. But it's stupid easy, but I think most people won't get it. So I thought we would have this little contest. And if you gave or give the most I can't even speak. If you give the most outlandish answer to the lyric or what you think it means, I'll stick a little drawing in an envelope for you. So you could go at this two different ways. You can be totally outlandish and get the lyrics wrong, or you could be totally spot on and get the lyric right. So after a couple songs, we'll do it. Just remind me because I'll probably forget. But anyway, the topic is as above, so below, which is a very old Hermetic saying found actually on the Emerald Tablets. And if you're familiar with it, it basically says that all things that are formed down here have an influence on what happens in the heavens. And likewise, things that happen in the heavens have an influence on things that happen on earth. And even in scientific terms, it plays out as the observer effect. If you observe certain things, you can have an influence on those things, which is an interesting side note where science catches up later to, age-old things. So, and also to do with things like intention. If you intend things to get better, things eventually get better, not just for yourself, but for those around you. But we'll get into it. So, But anyway, it's going to be fun. It's going to be weird. It's going to definitely be a little bit more on the moody side. Again, I'm not here to politicize things, although it's very easy to do. And, I'm trying to avoid it because I kind of feel like we're in that same, or at least I am, in that same PTSD thing that I was having when we were under lockdown. So I have definitely felt like I was on lockdown for the last couple weeks. And I will explain how crazy it is that all the stuff that was going on in the news was happening while I was having to take care of stuff here on my little bubble of the world and where we're at with all this other stuff that's going on. So I'm going to play a song now. So first, because of course I have to oh, that's funny. So, is that the story about universe or infinitely stacked turtles? No, but I find that one funny too. Joseph asks. No, not about turtles, but I will say that it does have something to do with the universe that is static versus dynamic. I'll bring that topic up again, because I think let's put it this way. Even if you don't believe me, entertain the idea in your mind as a sort of fanciful way of thinking. And if it helps, maybe, Mike's in the house. Thank you. Says also a very good horror movie named As Above, So Below. Yes. And it's a very good one, actually. I do like that movie. That is a good one. So set your dials to distances for a second because I want to give some good news. So distances finally, and I mean, I don't know if you guys realize this, but it took years to get it to go back on Spotify because there was a lot of problems that I had with it. But I'll get into that when we get back. I'll tell you that story, but it's on Spotify now. So now you can actually stream it and it's on Apple and all that stuff worldwide. So that's a wonderful thing. That's wonderful news. And there's more news of good stuff coming too. So anyway, let's play the song. This is the title track from Distances. And I'm going to just say this. Pay attention to the lyrics tonight. I chose them all very carefully. Sort of. back. So that was the title track from Distances, which is funny because I will tell you something funny about that particular song. I actually thought that this was going to be the song that I would open a show with. When I was writing the words, I thought it was going to be the opening song of some weird tour that Abox was going to have. And of course, it never worked out that way. So, Distances, and I'm just going to give the backstory for anyone who doesn't know it. So, this weird stuff that happens with me and my work, of being able to get it back or, release it again or do stuff. This one is completely 100% my fault. Um, the idea was that Distances was going to be the next Anything Box album. And um, little did I know that Abox was going to break up like shortly after we made this decision. So what the decision was that we were going to vote on it, and whatever the vote came, however the vote came, democracy, right, as it were. And we would score the songs, we would score everything, and it turned out that, in the end, I could have had my way because I am Abox, and I could have been the, it's gonna be my way. But I didn't. I took the democracy route and I let things happen the way they happened. And I decided I was going to name it Claude in the end. And then, of course, I had to do the entire, marketing of it, everything done in this weird way. And then later, when it was all done, the band breaks up, of course. And now, the album that I thought was the next Anything Box album wasn't. And that was I'll say it this way, it was a bitch. Because not only did I have to rebrand it, I found out that it wasn't easy to do. I couldn't just call up Spotify and say, hey, that album I gave you, I'm going to change the cover. I'm going to put Anything Box on it, and we're just going to release all the songs all over again as Abox. And they said, no, you can't. Because apparently these things aren't allowed. And for a long time, a couple years actually, I had to sort of set it aside, and it did terribly under my own name. Terribly. So to give you an idea, because I looked it up, in the entire time that it was up on Spotify alone as Claude, it didn't even reach 1,000 streams, which was terrible for an Abox album. I mean, that's really bad. It didn't even crack 1,000 streams. And you're talking there's 23 songs, and I couldn't even crack it. So I'm very happy to say that in the 24 hours that it's been up on Spotify and Apple, it's past 11,000 streams in 24 hours, which is really good. I'm very happy. That just makes me happy. I don't even care if it's, just more than 1,000. It's just that I'm happy that record now sits with the entire catalog where it belongs. And, it took a lot of effort to get it there. And I remember thinking when it was written that, this whole concept of as above, so below was all over the album, because the entire premise of the album was how distant things become connected in the end. The seemingly innocuous paths that we take somehow, some way are all connected, so that when you're at the end of life, you can look back and see where everything led you in certain places to get to where you are. So for me, if it weren't for the divergence of Worth or, the crazy maniacal contract that I had to get out of with Sony, and having to even think about, I can't even write a new album. So Hope had to be written only after that termination was signed, because of course I was like scared that if I, I'm rambling, I'm sorry. But here's the point. Without those bad things happening, I would not have gone on to record Hope. From Hope, I would not have gone on to record Electrodelica and so forth. Every single step has always been some crazy guided thing, and I can see the guidance. I've always wanted to talk about the guidance, but I couldn't because I always thought, well, people are going to think I'm crazy if I say, like, I woke up and I heard God's voice say, do this. And I'm like, what? Do that. And I'm like, okay, like, but I listen. I actually do listen. So, and I know there's people are going to say, how do you know it's the right voice? Well, we could talk about that later. But anyway, how does this all relate? Well, it's nice that album wound up becoming live yesterday, um, because today, or within the last few days, I had been working on all these documents with my team with the case stuff, and it's not easy. All the stuff that's happened, if you want to know, has all happened to me within the last 2 weeks, leading up to the news. The assassination of Charlie Kirk, the crazy stuff that's going on in every single city. All this weird stuff, protests that I can see literally like 2 blocks away from my house. Down to a rally that was held, not something that I would have supported, but literally right outside my door. Um, and it's like it's a strange feeling to have to like think about all these different moving parts, grieve, think about all the stuff that's gone on in the last 2 weeks, and at the same time work on not one, but two motions to dismiss that Sony filed against me to try to make that trial go away, to try to get the thing thrown out. So that was difficult, and I will admit that that's difficult because it's not easy to see like two freaking novels written by a giant corporation saying we're gonna get this thrown out, and I'm like, no, you're not, but I have to fight it too. And this happened all in a span of a few days, or I should say the last few days, and it finally ended on the 24th, on the day that Distances showed up on Spotify. So it's almost like I got a little spiritual smile out of it, like, here you go. This thing you wanted finally went through. Spotify said okay. Apple said okay. Everybody said fine. Oh, fine. You've asked us enough, and in the right way, and in the nicest way possible, that we're gonna let it go and let you rename it Anything Box, and you can have all the songs on it. Everything's back to normal, and here you go. And we'll even throw the algorithm in your favor for a few days. And no, the streams don't count from the one before. So that has made me feel a little bit better. So I'm glad that all that stuff's filed. Because it took a huge load off of me. But at the same time, when that load came off, it felt like the other load that I was carrying, which was all this emotional baggage going back to, I'm not even kidding, back to 2020. All this emotional baggage and PTSD came to the forefront and literally just jabbed its finger into my eyes. It's the best I can put it. But I must say I'm very lucky because I didn't get migraines. I didn't have the usual physical meltdown that I normally would. And in the interim of all this, I had a great show in Chicago, which was one of the strangest shows I've ever had. And I'll tell you about that too. But it was fantastic, even though it didn't tick all the boxes that I needed, but it ticked just enough boxes. So, in the end, things are going to be better. And things are going to be better because I intend them to be better. I will work on me to be better in all aspects. And I think that if I do that, that will hopefully reflect on the world outside of my window. And hopefully the world outside my window gets better too. That's the best I can hope for. Aside from, of course, getting out to vote, being active in things without, doing bad stuff. Just get it done. I just want to make it work. So, anyway, that's been my week. But I'll tell you about the show when I come back. And I'll tell you about the case and all that. I'll catch you up. I'm going to be a little all over the place because, like I said, I wasn't planning or thinking that I was even ready for a stream yet. Because what I didn't want to do was come in and do a stream and be all political, because that's not my nature. I think of the human element of things, which means that on certain issues, I can be left, I can be right. I can be in the middle. I could be not on either and be like up there or over there. I am not easy to pin down. You may think I'm easy to pin down, but I'm not. Because all I can do is just be myself. So, and that's how I was brought up, to be yourself. Thank you for that, Walter. That's very nice of you. Thank you. Thank you for that. City Cassette Lover says, Claude, Sony tries to do this with all the lawsuits. I know that everybody, I even knew that it was going to that they were going to try getting it thrown out. I knew. And look, it's not over yet. I don't know if it will be thrown out or not. I actually don't think it will, because I think I know I have a very good case, and I spent a lot of time documenting things that they're not going to be very happy about. So I don't think that it's going to get thrown out. At least not all of it. So we'll leave it at that for now. So let's play a song. So someone mentioned before, isn't there a song that mentions the as above, so below? Yes, there is. So this is fast forward the Seeming mix, which I actually really love this mix. It's so weird. Let's put some visuals in and let's play it. Ha! Oh, so the synth cam is working. I couldn't get it to work earlier. I was like, it's broken. No, it's working. Nice. So yeah, so the studio is a little crowded because I still haven't fixed what's going on with the microphone, although it's not going to crackle because I've got like a direct line in to the sound card, which is it's not as nice sounding as my preamp, but at least it's clean. So we're going to leave it alone for now. But I have cables that I still have to do. I have a new machine that I just got, which is fantastic. Trying to figure out where it's gonna live in here. I'm gonna rearrange a few things because I want to have like music time again. Because I've got ideas for songs now, so I think a new album's coming. I can see it burbling up. Something's happening. So it's gonna be time to come back into the studio and work a lot. And since the heavy lifting is over, um, because let me tell you the way this is gonna go. It's either going to get thrown out or it's not. I mean, all of it is not going to get thrown out. So the whole thing, I know that Sony wants the entire thing to be thrown. I don't think the entire thing is going to be thrown out. There are too many cool, nice issues for the court and the jury to like, and they're going to have fun with it. So I'm pretty sure it's not getting thrown out. However, and this is for the people who ask this question via DM to me, like, what happens if it does get thrown out? I'm just going to go to a higher court and file it even stronger. And if it gets thrown out that way, I will file it even stronger. Because every time I have more stuff to add that is just crazy, like insane stuff. So, I'm trying not to do, because I'm a very, it's very simple, I just want I sent them a notice because I wanted my album back. That was it. I just said, hey, it's been 35 years. You didn't send me anything. I want my freaking record. And instead, they decided to, we are Goliath. And it's like, someone hand me a slingshot, please. So it's not going to go down that way. I have enough time to, if they want to do it that way, I guess. But I don't want that. But if that's what they want to do, I'm ready. So, it's important to me, obviously, because I don't want to see peace. It's funny. I'm going to post some stuff next week that's going to like just shock you. Um, uh, wait till you see what the cover painting looks like. It's pretty bad. So there are many issues here, and I don't really think it's going to get thrown out. So, that's where we're at. But because it's all filed, and unless of course I have to file more stuff, which of course if they want to drag me out of the studio to have to like work on stuff and consult more with my team, then that's what's going to happen. So, there's that. But it's a hefty thing, and I've like I said, it was a weird thing to deal with that stuff and everything else that was going on. Selfishly, I might add, because I kept thinking, am I just being selfish? Because I'm like having to think about this stuff too, and like, there was this desire in my head to want to just hide my head in the sand and just not do anything. But if I've learned anything from the last couple of weeks, is that doesn't work. And I have to pursue things a little differently from now on. And so, in a weird sense, I grew up, and that's where we're at with that. Oh, Fabian says if he registered the songs, then they're legally his. Yes, they are. However, they are without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I can give you this is not a big deal. I can tell you, like, there's this thing called a read criteria about what work for hire is, and I don't fall into any of it. Um, that's an easy one. Then I can definitely have no problem telling you what that is. Cards are laid out on the table. You could actually look this up in court, and you know, their claim is that I wrote the songs under their direction, with them telling me basically what to write and someone guiding it. And that is completely an insulting, very insulting fabrication, because I think they forget that I had previous copyrights of my material, and I have my journals that are sitting right there in the garage. I've already gotten the reel to reel masters of my original Living in Oblivion tapes and all that stuff that, you know. Um, so, you know, there's all that. There's all this proof that the songs existed before them, that they're going to have a really hard time with that part. There's at least, I want to say four shows where we're doing Living in Oblivion, Kiss of Love, When We Lie, even Soul on Fire, even though at that time it was called House on Fire, and a bunch of different things that were, I would say, easily 70% of the album was recorded before 1989. And the few that were recorded later all happened in my apartment. And that's, I have proof of all this stuff. So that whole like we hired you stuff it's just not going to work. Oh, it doesn't work. A poor man. No, I didn't need a poor man's copyright. So hear me out. I actually have, because it was the first, I think I talked about this before, but I did one of the very first things, the very first professional thing I've ever done was send in my copyright to the Copyright Office in late 1988. And I still have the certificate from the Copyright Office saying that I submitted 4 songs, and it's a real copyright with a stamp. And it's got Living in Oblivion on it, Kiss of Love, World Without Love, Heaven's on it. So it's like there's a lot of stuff that it goes from a pre-period. But again, it's not that big of a deal. It is what it is. It's in God's hands. I'm very confident. God's got me covered on this one. I think we're good. And like I said, if it's meant for me to take it higher, then it means I'm going to take it higher. But when I take it higher, it means that it gets more press. And it also means that then the world gets more involved in it. Right now, it's just my little bubble. But if this has to go higher, then it's going to go higher all the way. So, you're doing good, Fabian. I would stay indie if I were you. But let's play a song. And when we come back, I'll start we'll do the contest, number 1. And then I will get into the As Above, So Below from scratch. And we'll talk comets and the strangeness that is our universe mirroring what is happening down here. So, over visuals, let's play a song. Oh, what do you know?
Welcome to the end. The universe expands. Everyone is glad as the sun descends, and your self-esteem comes back from where it's been. We are all indebted to everything it brings. You know how everything is connected and reflected. Now universe expands. So welcome to the end. The universe expands.
Haha, almost got to dead air there. Ah, I'm back. Sorry. So, so I've got some nice questions out there, and a friend of mine in Houston says IP lawsuits are tough. Yes, they are. They are tough. However, the they're tough. They are, but they're also easy. Meaning, if all the right elements are there, meaning that 35 years have gone by and the the stuff wasn't exploited or exploited very badly, and it had no significant um, value to the author can terminate. And in this case, um, without getting into the specifics, because I don't really need to anymore, because I mean, the case, you can actually look at the case and, it, Ricky, if you want to look at the case, you can go into Pacer. I can send you the case number. If you have Pacer access, I can let you in. But if you want to look. But what happens is in IP is basically, yeah, like, let me give you an idea of how it works for the people that are out there that don't understand it. Let's say you write a book and you give it to a publisher and they put it out, but they don't do anything to promote it. And then 35 years later, that book is just sitting on a shelf, meaning they never reprinted it. It's just been sitting there doing nothing, basically. Um, and any interest that you as the author have to, hey, let's put it out with a new cover, let's do this, let's do that, is basically shut down. You wait your 35 years and then you say, sorry, man, I'm taking that back now because you didn't do what you said you were going to do. And it's time for me to have this back. And that's how it works. It's that simple. Now, I say simple, but it gets complicated when, of course, they don't want to let it go, even though it's been 35 years. But in their case, they also haven't sent me, I mean, this is not, I don't mind telling you this, but yeah, in my case, they haven't sent me a statement in over 33 years. So I could go in front of a judge and jury right now, and if they asked me how many copies of Peace were sold or how many copies of Living in Oblivion were sold, I could literally look them all in the eye and say, I have no idea. I really don't know. Everything I say would be a guess because I don't know. So there is an interesting one. But that doesn't mean I never asked. I kept asking year after year. Like, I mean, there's a certain part of my history where there's time missing because I had a studio flood where I lost some years where I sent them letters and stuff. So I don't have those, but I have quite a bit, starting from 1997 to the present day, like literally to the day. Um, so that's going to be hard for them to get around. Um, so it's a funny thing, it's a weird thing, and I hope that it gets better. But It is what it is, my friends. My goal is to just, keep making music, keep making people happy. That's my main goal. So, we've come to that point. So I'm going to type this lyric. Hold on, all right, cuz I screwed up. Let me type. Ah, gosh. This is live. So, there's a song that sometimes when I'm out and about I play that most people don't know. And it's actually a song that will probably appear on some album sooner or later, or it'll just be released as part of a single or B side or something, because it's a weird song. And these are the words of the very first verse. Um, it's stupid simple. So here's what we're going to do. Switch cameras. Switching cameras. I'm going to give somebody who guesses what the lyrics are trying to say. Like, if you can interpret the lyrics of the song I'm about to give you, this sentence, I will draw something in this book and send it to you. That's what I'm going to do. So, here is your chance. These are the lyrics. First person to guess it correctly gets the book and a CD signed. The lyrics are, turn on the input. Turn on the input. If you agree or disagree, turn on the input. That simple. And to make things a little more fun, I'll sing it so that you get the gist of it. So this is how the song goes. Turn on the input. Turn on the input. If you agree or disagree, turn on the input. First one came in. Alfonso, wake up, if you agree or disagree. Nope. Joseph Quinthorpe Jr. says, be open-minded, consider your all sides. Close, but not it. TMT mixes, speak for yourself. Close. I'm telling you, for being such a stupid, simple line, it is much more complex than you think. Turn on the love, he says. No. Kimberly Brown. The song tells the story of a former lover thinking back on the kindness and good times he had with his ex-girlfriend. No. Ricky says, oh, you're close, Ricky. This line is interesting. It implies that regardless of your stance, you're still part of the system as long as you're plugged in. Whether you're holding along, or shaking your head, you're engaging with the input, thus influenced by it. You're so close. You're so close. You're so far, Ricky is the closest. Jay the teacher says, I'm sorry, Dave, I'm afraid I can't do that. Close. Oh, TMT mixes, you're so close. Think of how simple those lyrics are. I'll say that the more important line first. Turn on the input. Turn on the input. And just for shit and giggles, I'll sing you the second line. Turn on the input. Turn off the outside. So, Alfonso tries again. Connect with each other even if you agree or disagree. Steve says it's simple. Well, tell me, Steve, if you know it. Tell me. So far, Ricky's is the closest. Um, Listen to your intuition. You're close. You're close. But Ricky goes for it again. Critiquing how passive consumption of media, even if we think we're being critical, still keeps us trapped in its influence. It's a subtle call to awareness. Even when we can disagree with what we're hearing, we're still participating in the machine of input output. That's about as close as you can get. So, are you ready? And you're going to see how crazy and surrealistic, weird my brain is. What it means when I say turn on the input, it means turn on it. Like, like someone says, I'm going to turn my dog on you. I'm going to, turn, like call the cops and turn them loose on you. Or I'm going to, like, open my back gate and turn on my cats on you. It basically means turn on the input. In other words, fight back on what the visual, audio, media input that's going into your brain. Even if you agree or disagree, turn on that input. Turn on it. Not turn it on, turn on it. That's what it means. So, the closest person that got to it was Ricky. So, Ricky, you win. So, you could DM me your address, Ricky. I'll send it to you. I will do the drawing. Now, nobody came up with a really kooky one. Oh, shoot. All right, Steve. That was pretty good. That's pretty good. I'll give you the goofy award. Claude hooked up his devices with a power cord. The device didn't turn on until Claude realized he forgot to turn on the wall switch. Nice. Yeah. Oh, what am I smoking? Nothing. We've got to turn on mass media. That's what I mean. We've got to turn on it. When it's bad, turn the shit off and learn to think for ourselves, even when we don't agree. And I think that in some ways that will help us to understand each other better than to have some weird segment of media trying to tell us what to do. And this could be on all sides, but there is a machine at work, and both sides of these machines are designed to keep you mired in anger and craziness. In fact, if you want a fun movie to watch and it'll like totally F with your mind, go watch Monsters Incorporated. Go watch that. This is an interesting one to watch. It's a very, very subtle, but very interesting poke at my little conspiracy there. But anyway, let's talk about the stuff going on. So, what's happening above us? There are, at this very moment, in case you haven't gotten your head out of the media news about all this other crap going on Earth that's making us all go crazy, there's something up there that's going crazy. The protagonist of this particular story is C2025K1, or otherwise known as 31I Atlas, 3I Atlas, which is an interstellar traveler from beyond our solar system. It's the third one. Remember when we did the stream and I talked about Oumuamua? Well, this is a lot bigger than Oumuamua and a lot stranger. It's, if you go on NASA now, they're calling it a comet, but weeks ago they weren't so sure it was a comet, and I'm pretty darn sure they still don't know what it is. It's very odd. And it will reach perihelion. Did I say that right? Help me. It will reach perihelion right around the end of September. and the beginning of October. And at the same time, if you think that's strange, from a completely different area of the universe, we now have another one, a very large comet called C2025R2, Swan. And think of it like this. Here's the sun. One's coming this way, one's coming this way, and they're going to meet. They're not going to touch. I mean, we hope they don't, because that will be its own, crazy movie to be in. But they're going to go behind the sun, and whatever happens when they reach that area behind the sun, we will not be able to see it. But they are converging at almost the exact same time. And it's crazy because if you look at the probability of such a thing occurring at this point in time, meaning two comets with completely off the chart information of how they're made, complete unknowns, we can't really map them the way we mapped normal comets, happen to arrive at the same time and will both converge behind the sun where we won't be able to see what they're doing for a while. So it's interesting that this aspect of this planetary weirdness going on in our universe is happening at the same time as all our little stupid chaos and wars and all that other crap is going on here, down here on Earth. So again, as above, so below. The macro, the micro. We are the micro because we're tiny. You realize we're like tiny little insignificant things in the universe. Well, the size of 3i Atlas alone is about supposedly almost almost the size of our moon. Pretty crazy. The comet 3i Atlas is said to be 33 billion tons. That's how heavy it is. And it's going to pass right in front of Mars, and hopefully we'll get a good shot of it. Oh, sorry, I lost the chat. Hopefully we're going to see a really good shot of it. Yeah, I don't believe it's a comet. I think it's something else. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not a normal comet. It's not acting like a comet. Nothing about it is like a comet. The more information that comes out on this thing, the weirder it gets. And so it's interesting to see within scientific circles, and I'm talking high level stuff, their division as to what they should report, what they shouldn't report. Because if they report something that seems too anomalous, then people are going to think it's a ship or a probe. But if we don't say enough, then people could take photographs of it soon enough. It'll be almost impossible to hide whatever they are. And then, of course, there's this other side of it where what happens if when they both go behind the sun, they just stop? There's no movement. So to stay on the positive side, we want them to be comets. We want them to pass the sun and pass each other and then make a nice little weird visual for us to see. Because the other prospect is not so good. The gods are fixing the sun. Yeah, maybe. So that is the above, and that's not even it. All of it. It gets weirder. Today, or was it yesterday? Was today or yesterday? You can look this up yourselves. There were two stars that went nova in our galaxy, which is crazy. So For shits and giggles, go on whatever your favorite AI is and ask them, what are the chances of two comets arriving at the same time behind the sun while two stars in our galaxy go supernova and we have 7 other little comets coming through? That, by the way, this is new because NASA's now saying, "Oh, it's common. We have 7 of them coming." Like we've seen that before. We got that on the news before. Oh, 7 comets, no big deal. So the signs in the heavens, there's a convergence. And those same types of weirdness and chaos is happening down here. So it is time to self-reflect. That's what I'm thinking. It's self-reflection time. So anyway, I'll get back to that when we come back. Yeah, drone cam. This is from Worth. Someone speaks.
Have you read the papers that the man in the overcoat, girl of 21, just hung herself? Isn't it a shame? After all, the words have made me feel what I wanted. I am so alone, was all she left by her bedside. Have you seen the child who has no name? Said the little girl. Have you seen him playing in the street, hopelessly insane? After all the tears just caved him in, he still wonders. After all the seconds passed away, I just turned. Have you heard the story at the end of another day? Did it make a gesture in your soul? Did it go away as you held the promise of the sun and tomorrow? As you woke to find that you have changed, now you're older, someone speaks. Someone speaks. Someone speaks. You will listen. Someone weeps. Someone speaks. Someone speaks.
Oh, wow. I thought I had. I reached over to hit the mute button and I almost hit the stop stream button. So, yeah, so to make things even weirder up there, not only are we having comet season, which I'm serious, as long as I've been alive on this earth, I have never ever heard that term, comet season, as if it's normal to have 7 comets floating around out there. And 2 that are coming from completely different areas of the galaxy that will converge behind the sun on almost the exact same day. So the probabilities of that happening are very low mathematically. Then, to make matters even weirder, you guys know that our sun has been acting up and it's been sending out these, solar flares, these gigantic solar flares. And, we've been hearing like, oh, we missed that one. That one missed us. It didn't come directly at us. It went over there. It went over there. We've been lucky that we never got hit with one. And yet, the sun sent one out and it hit the comet. So that is already weird. To me, that's very strange. So keep adding the probabilities. 2 comets now meeting behind the sun. One got hit by the sun, by a CME directly from the sun. And the trajectory of the comet is also weird. I'm going to use my book as an example. So imagine that this is the plane of all the planets. The sun's here, and we revolve around the sun, which is right there, somewhere in the center. And this comet is coming straight across to basically take a tour of our entire solar system. Almost an exact tour of our solar system. And it's got really strange stuff. I mean, it's already changed colors. It has a tail that doesn't go behind it, but in front of it. These are really strange, interesting times. So it is to me, as someone who knows that the heavens move things on Earth. Look, the moon itself between the moon and the sun, our tides are affected. So how are we going to be affected by several comets coming through at this particular time? So what I meant by a tipping point is that we have an opportunity, and it might not be a very finite one, but we have an opportunity to make changes to ourselves. And one of the things that I thought of doing more than anything was to return to my spiritual center, which is very freeing, because rather, like, you could think of me as crazy. I'm not as good as a public speaker as I am a writer. Sorry. But I will say this. Now I will be writing more. And when I say writing, I mean like sitting down to write. And I will write out all these things and these thoughts I've had about all this stuff for years. Things I was more afraid to say. And now I don't feel that fear. And look, like I said, and this is what I said on my Facebook post a week ago, whether you love Charlie Kirk or you hate him or whatever you think, it caused something to happen. And whatever it is a turning point. And for me, it just pointed back to my faith and said, what if you got cut off and you had so much to like explore and you didn't do it? Because the art is one part of my being, but everything else that's in here is strangely unique and weird too. So I mean, I'm not saying that I'm special in that whatever I say goes. No, I actually hate when Pop-Tarts do that. So I'm not that kind of Pop-Tart. What I want is to explore the inner realm and tell you what I find there. And I have found weird things there that I've kept to myself for many years. And I'm going to start revealing what those things are. And the truth will, Ricky said it. The truth will set you free. And honesty and openness brings connection. So if you want to do some reading, some really good reading, and I'm not joking. This is like a book recommendation. Go find uh, a book by Ishtak Bentov, Bentov, spelled Bentov. So you can just look for Bentov, Stalking the Wild Pendulum. Go read that book. It's a short book. It's funny. It's one of my favorite books of all time. And the interesting parallel with Bentov, if you want to know, is that he was working on a model of the universe that he thought was holographic and ever changing, and that we had a hand in it, that we could directly. He didn't say that there was no God. He wasn't one of those kind of scientists. In fact, he was the opposite. He said, we can communicate, and it's a lot easier than we thought, and no one seems to get it. So he set out to write these books to get to that connection. And what happened? Just when he was going to do a lecture and he was going to teach it, he died in a plane crash. So I was always intrigued by his work because it is very unique. It is like nothing you've ever read before, and it coincides directly with teachings that I've seen in the Bible and the Torah and even parts of the Quran. So it bridges some gaps that are very interesting to me on a religious level. So I totally recommend you read it. So go look for that book, Stalking the Wild Pendulum. Short little book. It's less than 100 pages. You could read it in 2 days or like in a single sitting. And it's very entertaining and funny. It's actually very funny. But my goal this week is to go back to that book and reread it, and then go back to my endless notes that I have in my, that's so funny, in the archive. The PDF book is in the archives. Oh my gosh. That's good. That's good though, because it should be something that everyone can get. Yeah, let me look at that real quick. I just want to see. Oh, did I mess up? No. Yeah, you're right. That's it. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Ricky. Yeah, there's the PDF. But this is one of those books that even if you get the PDF, print it out and read it, because it's one of those books you want to read sitting near a windowsill or going out to the woods and just sitting down and reading, because it's profound. It's a really good, profound book, and I highly recommend it. Anyway, so I've gone back to that, and I've gone back to all the old studies that I was doing of, the different religions, because I was studying every religion on earth. I've always been very interested in all the religions. So while someone could classify me as Christian, and that would be fine, I am what I would call an independent Christian. I have my own thing. And yeah, Jesus is my best friend. I got it. He's right here. He always sits right there and going, yeah, that's pretty good, or no, that's not good. he'll tell me the skinny. But anyway, let's play a song before I keep, doing whatever it is I'm doing. Here you go. Conscious.
A wrinkled photo on the wall tells things that came before it went away. Even all the ghosts inside, hazy as can be, leave traces of who we used to be. And they say, how does it feel to know that you're real? How does it feel?
We're back. Conscious.
This is side 2.
Oh, I forgot that was going to happen. I always forget that. I need to edit that out so when I play it doesn't do that whole this is side 2 thing. So I'm looking at my notes. So I was thinking about the observer effect, which is what happens when, I don't know if you've ever seen the experiment, but the experiment is that they shot particles through a set of slits. And basically what they discovered was that the particles would change as to which direction they went into if someone was observing them. Which means, in the end, because every time they've done this experiment, they've realized that the observer effect is real. If you are observing the particles doing something, they feel they need to perform or do something. It isn't just a cut and dry experiment. Look it up. It's interesting. The double slit experiment. So the observer effect, the quantum quirk where observing the phenomenon alters it, feels like a good metaphor for this insight. In physics, I'm reading from my notes, it's particles collapsing from the possibility of different reality through scrutiny. Spiritually, it may suggest that our attention or intention might ripple into the fabric of creation, meaning that which is above us. So as we watch the comets streak, the CMEs flare, supernovas, exploding, are we just witnessing what's going on out there? Or are we, in some subtle way, participating in it? Maybe even having a hand in it. If you think of the uncanny alignment with the Earth and its turmoils, the wars, obviously Ukraine, Gaza, polarized elections, it almost mirrors heaven's unrest, interstellar comets, solar outburst, stellar explosion. It all hints at a deeper interplay that's going on. It's as if our collective focus on chaos, division, or transformation is being reflected, amplified, or maybe even worse, catalyzed by the cosmos. So take heart, because as small as we are as creatures, we are interacting with this creation. In many, many spiritual traditions, humanity isn't separate from the universe, but an expression of it. The Hermetic principle suggests that the microcosm, us, mirrors the macrocosm, which is the cosmos. The observer effect adds a twist. Our awareness might be a feedback loop, collapsing infinite potentials into the very reality we are experiencing. The wars, the political rifts, and the comets and the supernova are, or could be, our collective gaze, steeped in our fears, our hopes, and maybe even shaping how these things turn out. So, that said, wouldn't it be a good idea to start intending unity? Wouldn't it be a good idea to start getting back to the old-fashioned way of dealing with certain things, like, you bust on each other and you're silly, I'm silly, we're going to get past it this way, rather than just constantly demonizing each other? Because I think that in the end, that's not going to work. And it's going to have a ripple effect. And I would say that it is already having a ripple effect. We're seeing it. So for some, you're going to say, well, it's not proof. It's not proof. I mean, look around. Ukraine's front lines are shifting. Middle East tensions are simmering. Our elections are fracturing with discourse. And how do we get to this cosmic spectacle? On the flip side, 3 comets in one sky, a CME comet collision, a first, by the way, and supernovas flaring in tandem. It's like the universe is holding up a mirror saying, your chaos is ours, and ours is yours. In spiritual terms, this could be a call to shift our observation, not to just focus on the turmoil, but what it's forging and how might we forge something better. Because in the end, I know, I said this when I was in Chicago, I know all of us just want to live in peace and just have a good life. I know in the end that's all we want. So we need to be able to heal, to transcend, so that we might tip those scales. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we'll keep talking. Got another song for you here. This is World Without Love, the demo. World of love. So I'm looking at my notes. So it might look like I'm reading because I wrote all this stuff earlier and I was thinking about it. And it's a mess. The notes are a mess. I'm hopefully going to turn it into a decent article. But the observer effect is like a spiritual and psychological lens. Quantum mechanics tells us that observation collapses the possibilities into reality. In our minds, what we focus on, consciously or not, shapes what we manifest. So, the idea that if we obsess over and over with something we don't want, or praying for something not to happen, can actually amplify its presence. Psychologically, it aligns with concepts like the irony process theory. We're trying to suppress a thought, but yet that thought becomes louder. It's like if you say, I won't think about cats, I won't think about cats, and suddenly you see cats everywhere. It's the same effect. Spiritually speaking, it's like the law of attraction or karmic feedback. Energy flows where energy goes. If we're fixated on fear or lack or violence, we will unintentionally feed it. Just like that CME energizes that comet's tail. So we need to connect to our center and work from our center. I know it sounds hokey, probably sounds like some leftover 1960s hippie stuff, but we have to connect to our inner selves and feed that outward. Because if all we want is to have our opponents dead, that's not going to help. And what society are we going to build based on that? I mean, that's the truth. What society will we build based on that? So start thinking about the things you want that are good for all of us, that can work for all of us. And I don't mean just politically. I mean, sit down, have a conversation with someone, get to know what's in their head really, because you may think you know, but you may not really know. And it might work out that it's not compatible. And that's the other side of it too. What can I say? I mean, there's a possibility that there are certain things or ideologies or whatever it is, worldviews, countries that are not compatible, and that's going to cancel itself out. Sooner or later, all empires fall. But it depends on how they fall and what our place is in the universe to make them fall. So look to the skies, see what's happening out there, and see how it mirrors like maybe the inbound clashing things that are going on in one's own mind or one's own heart. So for myself, I just want things to get better. It's that simple. Oh, Kimberly Brown says, you can look at these cosmic coincidences in two ways. Occam's razor says, supernovas, comets lining up, happen because of physics and chaos. Simplest explanation, no hidden hand. Everything happens for a reason, sees them as purposeful, like supernova creating the elements we're made of, or cosmic alignments as signs. One trims meaning down to math, the other adds meaning back in. I like me too, I agree. I like the everything happens for a reason explanation. So, the only reason that I can attest to that, being closer to that explanation, is because I've seen both sides of it. I've seen the science play out, but I've also seen the spiritual side play out. I can tell you that in the last couple of weeks, when I was working on these things for the case, I would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning with the strangest dreams saying, this is something to pursue. And it would be words I had never heard of. and I had to look them up. Some of them to even pronounce them. And then when I looked them up, I was like, wow, how did that get in my head? Like, where did that come from? No clue. But then I realized, wow, oh, shoot, this is like important. I realized where this is going. Like, and these are just little things. But in the end, these little things all add up. And that's my point, is all these little things add up from the smallest, tiniest thing. Remember the butterfly effect? Same things, right? The flapping of a butterfly's wings has massive effects in the weather across the earth. So what do you think our effect is when we engage in bad ways with each other? What do you think happens? I'll tell you, the more that we engage in bad ways, the more we create bad things. So we got to stop that. Even when we disagree, because that's important. So, oh, I'm glad you brought that one up, TMT. I like that one a lot. The M. Night Shyamalan. I'm gonna like butcher that. Sometimes reading is hard for me because I'm dyslexic. I know it's weird, right? But I am. Signs is a great movie, and I love that movie. In fact, if you watch that movie a couple of times, you will see how everything lines up for the end. And it makes you think that once again, like I said with distances, it seems like everything is chaotic. But at some point in time, you are able to step back. And if you ask for that power of observation, you will see the connecting dots that brought you to where you are, good or bad. And sometimes the bad has to happen because it has to bring you to a different path. So, there's that. So, we shan't be negative, right? No more negatives. So with that, I'll play Negaverse. That's next. Oh man, thank you for that. Um, TMT Mixes says, I love how you described it. You see by the end of the movie how everything lines up. Something seems like it has no purpose or benefit at first, but later in life, it can reveal its purpose. Yeah, without giving it away, right? The glasses of the little girl's glasses of water that she leaves all over the house, which is a terrible habit. And normally, like everyone's like, you leave. What's wrong with this one? What's wrong with that one? And she leaves glasses of water all over the house. And without those glasses of water, they wouldn't survive. I just gave away something in the movie. So, shit, I just screwed it up. But anyway, go watch the movie if you haven't. It's a good movie. But our lives are like that. Now, what's interesting to me, anyway, is that if you're able to discern them, and I'm not saying you have to go crazy trying to connect the dots all the time, but if you can, you will see that certain pathways make more sense than others. And those pathways, if you follow your intuition, will lead you to the water. That's been my experience, especially more recently. So I will leave it at that because we've come to almost that time and place, and I've got two more. So I'm just gonna play them back to back because I think the last one's a little bit on the moody side. So, but this is Faith from Recovered, which actually is one of my favorites, by the way. Did I ever tell you guys that? Recovered is one of my favorites, but yeah. Faith. I'm such a crazy person.
Everybody has a faith. Everybody craves the warm embrace that hides in the depths of adversity and lives in the edges of what we need. 'Cause all we are is all we know. 'Cause everything else no one can show. What is the reason for who we are? Waiting for the answer to drive us far. Sometimes I wish there was a way to bring the calm back in the days when it all seems so exposed. Make it last forever, and all the dreams you did not wish, I'll steal them all from you tonight. All you have to say is go. Make it last forever. Everybody has a faith. Everybody craves the warm embrace. Even me. Everybody has a faith. Everybody has a faith. Everybody has a
I'm going to leave you with this last song, and I will see you all next week, hopefully. Oh, wait, maybe not. I'll post throughout the week. There's some stuff going on around here. Here we go. Humanity.
time, no dear. All of you and all of me. All of you and all of me. Maybe I'm lost, maybe I found a way. All the wayward roads that I've had to face. All of you and all of me. All of you and all of me. I was alone, I was the empty space. I was the one, I was the lone and raised. All of you and all of me. 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 All of you and all of me.
I'm part of it. Can't you see it?